Welcome back, everybody, to Season 9 of the Micro Vlogcast. We're talking about Foresight's principles and how we approach sustainability and energy management for our clients. A good takeaway, I think, for all of you at home that might be watching is not receiving this like, oh, this is how Foresight does things, but we think that any company pursuing sustainability and energy management would be wise to be thinking about taking some of these approaches because of all the benefit that we've been able to drive for our customers. And so we're going to do this episode around our principle called interdisciplinary. And the idea behind this is like, we have a bunch of people at this company that are doing varying things tied to sustainability and energy management, from data collection to strategy, from product sustainability to facility sustainability, new construction to existing buildings. There's a variety of different disciplines that go into doing sustainability well. And I'd love to hear about a customer success story that we've experienced and can share related to how this particular approach of being interdisciplinary has benefited our client. So Matt or Vicki, do you guys have one for me to share?
Yeah, I can start. Actually, Matt and I have a fun one. Sorry. So we serve a large pharmaceutical company, serve them in many areas, and we're on our standard monthly call. And they brought up some details on a current LEED certification that they had in process. That's not my area of expertise. So I reached out to Matt, had him get on the call, and the rest was magic. So why don't you go from there in terms of what happened next?
Yeah, I love this story because, we're talking about interdisciplinary, right? And so part of this is, Pash mentioned earlier in a previous episode, like holistic and interdisciplinary are a little similar. And this is an example of, I think, a benefit we have is we can do both, right? Holistic strategy thinking, but then also depth and breadth and expertise in a wide variety of disciplines, right? Which is interdisciplinary. And so this specific example is we built a lot of trust with this client, right? And they invited us into some spaces. They were talking about some plans for a new building, and they wanted to get certified. They had a company that they were working with for the certification, which is also something we do. And we have a kind of expertise in Grand Rapids. And so as a kind of favor, I'm like, we can certainly help you with this thing. And it was dealing with rec procurement for a very specific credit. But I'm like, I'd be happy to look at your scorecard. I've got lots of familiarity and experience in doing this in our city. And they're like, sure, let's do that, right? Which is a trust thing, right? Because
very much so.
And we were able to have a partnership attitude, like, how can we help you do better? How can we help you get to the next level? And this was getting from silver to gold. And we identified...
Which was not even the objective.
Right.
So that was the great part, is a whole new level of certification that they wouldn't have achieved just through a couple of extra conversations.
Yeah. And so when you're building a scorecard, it's easy to kind of opt out of certain strategies if you don't have the technical discipline or expertise to execute the work. And in this instance, we were able to do daylight analysis, we were able to do air testing, we were able to do rec procurement. And those three things are what kind of get them over the threshold to get their LEED Gold certification, which was exciting for us, right? And what was also fun is, like, I don't think Vicki knew much at that time of what we could do in that space. And so it was like a learning of like how actually interdisciplinary we are. And like in the future conversations with future clients, like it's just always another sort of lens through which to listen to and be on the hunt for that impact.
And I think what's interesting about this dynamic from the customer perspective is, if you're in sustainability inside of a company, you are trying to really boil the ocean around a variety of things, right? There's scope 1, scope 2 emissions, there's pursuing renewable energy, there's your products and decarbonizing your products, there's the internal workings of all the different folks at the company you've got to influence to move things forward. And so it's very difficult to be in sustainability inside of one single company. And so what I think this is a good example of is, like, when you've got a partner that has the ability to speak to a variety of those different stakeholders, you can get a lot more done as the individual person inside of the organization trying to be the champion, right? Like, as opposed to dealing with 10 different providers and hoping you can connect all these dots. That's really our job. And what we're trying to do is help people understand this thing over here that you're doing. It impacts this, this, and this, and this is how we can be helpful. And I know for a fact that the people that we work with at this company are very appreciative of the fact that we can sort of bob and weave throughout the organization in all these different ways.
Yeah.
So a really good example of how interdisciplinary is a great approach to being excellent in sustainability. And join us next episode where we talk about another customer success story.